Hey folks, a lot of people are asking about this so-called Kraken subvariant, this XBB 1.5. What do we know about it? Do we need to worry about it? Let's talk about it. So this is still within the Omicron family, and you can consider it to be a great-grandchild of the original Omicron. It's in fact what we call a recombinant variant in that it results from the combination of two different subvariants of Omicron. And when you have that kind of recombination, you have a lot of change in the actual genetics of the variant. And two things we know from lab studies about this variant. One is that the original XBB that it comes from has more what we call immune evasive properties. In other words, it's better at avoiding the immunity that we already have from vaccination or prior infection, which is not a good thing. And the other thing we know is that as it evolved into XBB 1.5, it also acquired the kinds of mutations that make the virus better at attaching to the receptors on our cells that allow the virus to get into our body, which very likely will make it more contagious, more transmissible. So that's more immune evasive and more contagious. What's really important, though, is that we don't know that the virus causes more severe disease. It is becoming dominant in the US. It is likely going to become dominant around the world. It particularly became dominant very early in the Northeast and caused a lot of cases there. But we don't know that it causes more severe cases or that it's more likely to cause severe disease like hospitalization or death. And at this point in the pandemic, those are the things we worry most about. Also remember that we had this kind of concern with BQ1 and BQ11, which also were more immune evasive and more contagious in a lab setting, but didn't pan out to cause more severe disease or a major wave of deaths when seen in the real world. One good piece of news from lab studies is that if you look at XBB, the current bivalent vaccines that we have that people are getting as boosters are more effective at creating neutralizing antibodies against XBB than the original monovalent vaccine. So if we hopefully can extend this to XBB 1.5 as well, it's telling us that the newer bivalent vaccines are doing their job and that they are better at protecting against these newer subvariants of Omicron. So what's the bottom line? People ask me, do we need to worry? My answer is, you know what, this virus is going to continue to mutate. We will see more and more subvariants, and honestly, I just don't think it's practical to worry about each and every subvariant. There are worrisome features of this subvariant in a lab setting, and my answer is pay attention. Be aware of what's happening and what information comes out about how this subvariant behaves in the real world. And until we know more, take your practical precautions. Go out and get your booster shot if you haven't. Wear masks indoors and avoid those high-risk situations.